We stand on the precipice of understanding a profound truth, a truth as ancient as the stars and as immutable as the laws of nature. The universe is an unblinking eye, and no act, no intention, no whisper of disrespect ever goes truly unseen. In our hurried lives, amidst the clamor of ambition and the pursuit of fleeting gains, it is easy to fall into the illusion that our actions, particularly those committed in the shadows or against those we deem weaker, will vanish without consequence. We see individuals rise to prominence through cunning, through manipulation, through the very act of stepping on others, and the question arises in our hearts: where is the justice? Does the cosmic order truly exist? I am here to tell you unequivocally that it does. There is an intricate, invisible tapestry woven from every thought, every word, and every deed, and upon this tapestry every thread of disrespect, every stain of malice is meticulously recorded. Call it God, call it the divine consciousness, call it the universal mind, whatever name resonates with your spirit. Understand that there is a supreme intelligence, a boundless awareness that perceives all. This is not a vengeful deity, but a principle of balance, a cosmic accountant, ensuring that the scales of existence remain true. Consider for a moment her, the embodiment of grace, integrity, and unwavering spirit. She walked a path of light, offering kindness, wisdom, and compassion. Yet, she was met with scorn, with belittlement, with a calculated campaign of disrespect. Those who perpetrated this injustice believed themselves clever, perhaps even justified. They saw her virtue as naivete, her gentle strength as weakness. They thought their actions would diminish her, elevate themselves, and ultimately be forgotten by the winds of time. But they gravely misunderstood the fundamental nature of reality. Their disrespect was not merely a personal affront to her, it was a direct assault on the very principles that uphold harmony in the cosmos. When you disrespect a soul of genuine virtue, you are not just harming an individual, you are sending a discordant vibration throughout the universe. You are declaring that kindness is a folly, that integrity is a burden, and that compassion is a liability. This is a profound miscalculation, for the universe, in its infinite wisdom, cherishes these very qualities as the bedrock of creation. The seeds of disrespect they sowed were not planted in her garden but in their own barren soil. Initially, they might have experienced a fleeting sense of triumph, a hollow victory. They might have reveled in their perceived power, their ability to inflict pain and escape immediate retribution. But the universe, my friends, is infinitely patient. It is a meticulous gardener, allowing the seeds to germinate in their own time under the precise conditions. The regret they will eventually face is not an arbitrary punishment, it is the inevitable harvest of their own planting. It is the bitter fruit that ripens from the seeds of their own malicious actions. This regret will not manifest as a simple twinge of conscience that can be easily dismissed. No, it will be a deep, pervasive ache, an insidious emptiness that gnaws at their very core. They will find that the very successes they clawed for will feel hollow, devoid of true satisfaction. The relationships they forged through manipulation will prove fragile, lacking genuine connection and warmth. How can one build a lasting edifice on the shifting sands of deceit and unkindness? Their disrespect poisoned their own wellspring of peace, and in time they will thirst for a truth, a genuine sense of self that they can no longer find within their own corrupted hearts. The unblinking eye of the universe witnessed every slight, every sneer, every act of betrayal, and it will ensure that, in the quiet solitude of their own minds, they will eventually be compelled to face their own reflection, and in that moment of stark self-realization, they will see the true devastating cost of what they have done. This, my friends, is the first and most fundamental truth. No act of disrespect goes unrecorded, and the cosmic witness is always watching. Many among us, observing the apparent triumphs of the unrighteous, and the struggles of the virtuous often question the very existence of a higher order. Why, they ask, does the wicked prosper while the good suffer? This confusion, this despair, arises from a fundamental misunderstanding of the universe's timetable and its methods. Divine retribution, my friends, is not always a dramatic thunderclap from an angry sky. More often, it is a silent, relentless force, like the slow, persistent erosion of a mighty river carving canyons through stone. The universe does not operate on our impatient human clock. It possesses its own profound rhythm, its own perfect timing, and it is perpetually, inexorably moving towards balance. When they disrespected her, they did not merely inflict pain, they created a profound energetic imbalance, and the universe, in its infinite wisdom and unwavering commitment to harmony, must and will restore that balance. The retribution they will ultimately face is not a punitive act of vengeance, but a process of profound self-correction. It begins not with a sudden, cataclysmic event, but with a series of subtle, seemingly unrelated occurrences that over time coalesce into an undeniable pattern. Perhaps they will begin to experience a persistent string of misfortunes. Projects that once flourished will inexplicably falter. Relationships that seemed stable will sour and crumble. Their inner peace, once taken for granted, will be gradually replaced by a gnawing anxiety, a pervasive sense of unease that no material comfort can alleviate. They will look around, bewildered, asking, "Why is this happening to me? Why does nothing truly satisfy?" They will assign blame to external circumstances, to ill fortune, to anyone but themselves, but they will remain blind to the true underlying source of their growing misfortune. This, my friends, is the ticking clock of karma. Every act of disrespect, every unkindness, every malicious thought wins that clock, and with every silent tick, they are drawn closer to the inevitable moment of reckoning. Consider this fundamental principle. The universe is a vast, interconnected web of energy. When you consciously, or even unconsciously, project negative energy into this web, it is an immutable law that this energy must, by the very physics of existence, return to its point of origin. It is akin to throwing a boomerang. You can hurl it with all your might, watch it soar far into the distance, believing it is gone forever. But eventually, inevitably, it will arc back, returning precisely to the hand that launched it. The disrespect they unleashed upon her was a boomerang of negativity, imbued with the potent energy of their malice. It will return to them not as a simple external punishment, but as a deep, profound, and inescapable regret that forces them to scrutinize the very foundation of their lives. The very power, status, and respect they sought to gain through their cruelty will be the very things that prove most elusive, most unsatisfying, most fundamentally hollow. Their desperate attempts to bolster their own reputations will be subtly but persistently undermined by an inner void, a lack of genuine connection, and an inability to experience true joy. For true power and authentic respect can only be cultivated through integrity, through compassion, and through genuine virtue, never through the degradation or suffering of others. The retribution is not designed to annihilate them, but to compel them to confront the emptiness they meticulously carved within their own souls. It is a cosmic mirror, held up to them by the universe itself, so that they can finally, undeniably, see the reflection of their own actions and comprehend the devastating depth of their mistake. This, my friends, is the inevitable path of divine justice, slow, sure, and utterly inescapable. The universe is the silent architect of karma, building their future upon the foundations of their past. When we witness profound disrespect, when we ourselves have been the target of malice, our natural inclination is often to seek retribution, to demand an eye for an eye. We might believe that forgiveness is a sign of weakness, a capitulation that allows the perpetrators to escape accountability. But I stand before you today to reveal a deeper truth. True forgiveness is not only an act of profound spiritual strength for the wronged, but it is also one of the most potent and strategic catalysts for the perpetrator's inevitable journey toward genuine regret. When she was subjected to such profound disrespect, she stood at a crossroads. She could have chosen to succumb to the corrosive acids of anger and resentment. She could have allowed their venom to poison her own heart, to consume her thoughts, to dictate her emotional landscape. She could have dedicated her energy to seeking revenge, to plotting their downfall, thereby binding herself inextricably to their negative energy. But she, in her wisdom and spiritual fortitude, chose a different, far more powerful path. She chose to forgive. Now let me be absolutely clear. Forgiving is not about condoning their behavior. It is not about absolving them of their wrongdoing, nor is it about declaring that what you did was okay. Rather, it is a declaration of self-liberation. It is saying, I refuse to allow your destructive actions to control my inner peace, to define my worth, or to dictate the trajectory of my spirit. This profound act of spiritual release, this conscious unburdening of resentment, is what paradoxically accelerates the perpetrator's journey toward regret. When she, the wronged, lets go of the desperate need for revenge, she effectively clears the path for the natural, immutable laws of the cosmos to take their course unimpeded. Consider the psychological impact on the perpetrators. They expected her to be broken. They anticipated her anger, her despair, her defeat. They likely hoped to see her consumed by bitterness, thereby validating their own cruel narrative. Instead, what do they witness? They see her not only surviving but thriving. They observe her radiating a light that they so desperately tried to extinguish. They see her growing stronger, more compassionate, more resilient, her spirit unblemished by their malice. This stark contrast, this undeniable evidence of her enduring grace, creates a profound and unsettling dissonance within their own souls. It is a mirror held up to their own pettiness, their own cruelty, their own moral poverty. This realization that their actions were not only morally reprehensible, but ultimately futile in their objective to diminish her, is the true source of their deep and lasting regret. It is the agonizing understanding that they tried to tear down a monument of virtue, only to inadvertently polish it brighter. They will look upon her unwavering strength and be forced to compare it to their own inner hollowness. This sight, this undeniable proof of her triumph over their malice, is a far more potent and agonizing form of punishment than any external force or act of revenge could ever be. It is the realization that their efforts were not just wrong, but fundamentally pointless. They tried to diminish her, but in doing so, they only illuminated their own moral bankruptcy. The act of forgiveness therefore serves as both a spiritual shield for the victim and a spiritual sword for the universe. It protects her from the toxic energy of resentment, preserving her inner serenity while simultaneously empowering the cosmic forces to enact their perfect justice. When she relinquishes the burden of anger, the universe takes over the task of rebalancing. The regret they will feel is not born of her anger, but of her grace. It is the agonizing realization that they were so narrow-minded, so consumed by their own ego, that they failed to recognize the immense spiritual strength and inherent worth of the person they so callously tried to tear down. They will look at her, not with hatred, but with a profound sense of what they have lost within themselves, and the contrast will be unbearable. This, my friends, is the profound paradox of forgiveness. It is the very act that turns the weapon of their disrespect back upon them, not in a way that inflicts physical harm, but in a way that compels them to confront the stark, undeniable truth of their own souls. We must grasp that disrespect is never an isolated incident. It is an energetic ripple, a stone cast into the tranquil pond of universal harmony, creating waves that extend far beyond the initial point of impact. When they disrespected her, they did not merely inflict pain upon a single individual, they unleashed a discordant wave of negative energy that permeated their own lives, their immediate surroundings, their communities, and indeed the very fabric of the world around them. This is the profound ripple effect of disrespect, and the universe, which inherently seeks balance and harmony above all else, must, by its very nature, rebalance this disturbed energy. Think of it, if you will, as a cosmic debt. They incurred a significant moral and spiritual debt through their actions. The universe, in its unwavering adherence to equilibrium, will not simply allow this debt to go unpaid. The process of rebalancing, of settling this energetic account, can manifest in myriad ways, often subtly at first, then with increasing clarity. Perhaps their professional endeavors, which once seemed to flourish effortlessly, will begin to inexplicably falter. The colleagues and associates who once admired or tolerated them will, over time, begin to perceive their true character, the underlying currents of their malice. The trust they once commanded, perhaps through superficial charm or clever manipulation, will gradually erode, leaving them surrounded by a fragile network of individuals who are present only for their own self-interest, devoid of genuine loyalty or respect. Their relationships, even though seemingly strong, will reveal themselves to be hollow, built upon a foundation of deceit, control, and transactional exchanges. The very successes they relentlessly pursued will be tainted with a pervasive sense of emptiness, a profound lack of genuine fulfillment. The negative energy they consciously projected into the world will, by the immutable laws of resonance, be reflected back to them, creating a personal reality for them that is increasingly characterized by conflict, unease, and a deep, unsettling internal discord. They will find themselves perpetually battling unseen forces, unaware that these forces are merely the echoes of their own past actions. But the universe's rebalancing act is not solely focused on the perpetrators. It is a holistic process that also actively works to heal, uplift, and elevate the victim. As the negative energy they unleashed inexorably returns to its source, the positive energy that she consistently embodied, her unwavering kindness, her unshakable integrity, her quiet strength, her boundless compassion, will act as a powerful magnet. This positive resonance will attract new opportunities, new connections, and new blessings into her life, elevating her to heights she might not have imagined. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, will not only seek to make the perpetrators confront and regret their actions, but it will also work tirelessly to showcase to the world the true inherent worth and luminous spirit of the person they so callously attempted to tear down. The very platform they might have used to disrespect her, the very stage upon which they sought to diminish her, will, through the universe's subtle orchestration, ultimately become a grand stage for her enduring triumph and resilience. Her story will transform from one of victimization into a powerful beacon of hope and inspiration for countless others who have experienced similar injustices. The rebalancing is thus a twofold process: a gradual, often agonizing downward spiral for those who sow disrespect, leading to profound inner turmoil and external consequences, and simultaneously, an upward liberating journey for those who steadfastly maintain their integrity and compassion, leading to peace, fulfillment, and authentic connection. The universe, my friends, will not rest until this energetic debt is settled, until the scales of justice are once again restored to their perfect, harmonious balance. This is not merely a philosophical concept, it is a fundamental, observable law of existence, and no one, absolutely no one, regardless of their perceived power or influence, can ultimately escape its immutable embrace. The ripples they created will inevitably return to their shore. The saga of her and those who disrespected her is not merely a tale of individual justice. It is a timeless, universal lesson for every single one of us. It is a profound reminder that the truth of our character, whether it be radiant with virtue or shadowed by malice, will always inevitably be revealed. In this world, it is possible to wear a mask of benevolence, to construct an elaborate facade of success and righteousness, and to deceive many for a time. But let me assure you, with every fiber of my being, you cannot ultimately deceive the universe. The perpetrator's audacious attempt to diminish her, to tarnish her reputation, to break her spirit, was a futile endeavor from its very inception. In a profound cosmic irony, their malicious actions served only to highlight her inherent brilliance and to forge her spirit into something even more resilient, more luminous. They tried to bury a precious seed, hoping it would wither and die in the darkness. Instead, through their very efforts, they inadvertently watered it, nurturing it, allowing it to germinate and grow into a magnificent tree that will one day stand tall, a testament to unwavering strength and enduring virtue. Her story, therefore, transcends mere personal experience. It becomes a powerful living testament to the indomitable resilience of the human spirit and the transformative power of living a life anchored in unwavering integrity. The deepest, most agonizing regret they will ultimately experience is not solely about the external consequences of their actions, the loss of status, or the crumbling of their superficial empires. No, their profoundest regret will stem from the agonizing realization of the profound loss of their own soul. They made a catastrophic exchange. They traded their inner peace, their intrinsic integrity, their inherent honor for a fleeting, illusory moment of power and control. They consciously chose the path of disrespect, of manipulation, of cruelty, and in doing so they turned their backs on the very virtues that are the true architects of a fulfilling, meaningful, and genuinely joyful life. Their regret will be the crushing realization that they chose the wrong path, that they spent their precious lives relentlessly chasing a fleeting shadow, a mirage of external validation, while a true, lasting, and radiant light of inner peace and authentic connection was always within their grasp, waiting to be embraced. The truth, my friends, will be revealed, not through a dramatic public announcement, but through the quiet, steady, and undeniable unfolding of events. Slowly but surely, people will come to see her for who she truly is, a beacon of strength, compassion, and unwavering spirit. And with equal certainty, they will come to see her detractors for who they truly are, individuals whose actions are a stark reflection of their own inner emptiness, their moral decay, and their profound insecurity. The masks they wore will inevitably fall away, not torn off by an external force, but dissolving under the relentless gaze of universal truth. And when those masks are gone, the stark reality of their character will stand revealed for all to see. Therefore, the ultimate, most crucial lesson for each of us is to consciously choose the path of respect, not just for others, but perhaps even more importantly, for ourselves. To commit to living a life imbued with integrity, compassion, and kindness is to align our very being with the fundamental, life-affirming forces of the universe. When we make this conscious choice, we are not merely performing good deeds, we are building an unshakable foundation for our own existence. We are not immune to hardship, for life will always present challenges, but we will possess an inner peace, a profound certainty that even in the face of disrespect or adversity, we stand upon solid ground, a foundation that cannot be shaken. We will have the profound peace that comes from knowing deep within our souls that we are on the right side of truth, aligned with the very essence of cosmic harmony. So, let her story be a guiding light for you. Let it serve as a constant, powerful reminder that your character, your integrity, your capacity for respect are your most valuable assets in this life. And rest assured with unwavering certainty that the universe, in its own perfect time and in its own profound way, will always ensure that the truth prevails and that justice in its fullest and most meaningful form is ultimately served. This, my friends, is the ultimate wisdom and the most powerful truth of all.